Carter is an electric edge rusher. He has average height and bulk, but he has an elite burst and his ability to flatten at the top of his rush is special. He gets a lot of early wins because of that speed, and he also has a nifty swipe, rip move. If tackles overset, he senses it early and crosses their face for immediate pressures, sacks. He also has a natural ability to retrace underneath when quarterbacks climb the pocket to avoid him. He can press out and control tight ends at the point of attack. He's a blur when chasing plays down on the backside. Overall, Carter can take over and completely wreck an offensive game plan. He demands attention on every snap, and that is going to free up everyone else around him. Hunter is a lean, athletic playmaker who starred on both sides of the ball for the Buffaloes, winning the Heisman Trophy in 2024. He has a narrow frame and is a very smooth-flowing athlete. On offense, he is creative in his release to escape press as a receiver. He is constantly changing gears to keep cornerbacks off balance, and he never wastes steps at the top of his route. He drops his weight and explodes out of the break. He has elite body control and hands. He can pluck balls well outside his frame with grace and ease. After the catch, he is silky smooth and elusive. He doesn't have elite top speed, but he's fast enough to not get caught. On defense, he was much improved in 2024. He didn't take as many unnecessary risks at cornerback, relying more on discipline and technique to stay in position. He can locate the ball and picked it off 7 times over the past 2 seasons. My only concern is the question of how long he will be able to physically hold up if he continues to play on both sides of the ball full-time at the professional level. I'd prefer he prioritize offense and moonlight on defense. Gene is a fun player to study. He is a short, compact runner with incredible strength, balance and burst. He displays outstanding vision, tempo and feel. On inside runs, the Boise State product has a unique ability to absorb and bounce off tacklers. He has quick feet and never stops driving on contact, leading to some miraculous escapes and home runs. He is rarely, if ever, tackled when presented with one-on-one situations at the second level, exhibiting the capacity to run through defenders, make them miss or just burst by them. He isn't polished as a route runner, but he has reliable hands and can create in space after the catch. He can identify, absorb and wall off in pass pro. He needs to improve his ball security, having fumbled 9 times over the past 2 seasons. Overall, Gene might lack ideal size, but he's a mixture of Dalvin Cook and J.K. Dobbins as a runner. Graham is a powerful defensive tackle with outstanding leverage and instincts. He's one of the most consistent players in the draft class. Against the run, he has an impressive short area burst to attack blockers. He excels in block destruction. He stacks, finds the ball, chucks blockers to the side and collects tackles. He has lateral range to make plays down the line, too. He is always in a leverage position and never gets uprooted. In the pass game, he has a violent club, rip move and a powerful bull rush. His effort is outstanding. Overall, it's easy to identify Graham as a former wrestler. He always has a full gas tank and he set the tone for the entire Michigan defense. Warren is a massive tight end who carried the Penn State offense this past season. He lined up in the slot and as a wildcat quarterback. His production is the result of his size, catch radius and tenacity. He doesn't generate a lot of separation as a route runner, but he walls off defenders when on the move. Defenders simply can't get through his body to make plays on the ball. He can track the ball over his shoulder and he can high point the ball when needed. He isn't a nifty option route type of player. After the catch, defenders bounce off him or go along for a ride as he drags them for extra yardage. As a wildcat quarterback, he creates space with his power and leg drive. He's effective in the run game and looks to finish when possible. Overall, he isn't as dynamic as Rob Gronkowski was during his career, but Warren is a similar player in a lot of ways. Walker is a compact, powerful defender with length and explosiveness. He played both on and off the ball in the Georgia defensive scheme, but he's at his best on the edge. As a pass rusher, he can win with pure speed, power and an explosive counter move. He's also a weapon when used to spy the quarterback. He can mirror the QB's movement before closing the space in a hurry. He dominated in the Bulldogs' first meeting against Texas during the 2024 season. He's a firm edge setter against the run. When he's stacked off the ball, he's a touch late to key, diagnose, but he can attack and take on blocks or scrape over the top for tackles. He has outstanding change of direction, quickness and space. Overall, Walker is a tone setter on defense and UGA coaches rave about his makeup and leadership. Loveland is a long, lean tight end with outstanding awareness, quickness and big play ability. He has aligned in line as a wing and in the slot. He's urgent in his release. He has a tremendous feel for option routes and working in space. He can cleanly get in, out of breaks, and he presents a big target to the quarterback. He attacks the ball in the air and is adept at finishing in crowds. After the catch, he has a smooth stride and possesses a nasty stiff arm. He has some wiggle to make defenders miss, as well. His lack of bulk impacts his ability to stay connected as a run blocker, though. Overall, Loveland is equipped to make a lot of catches as a starting tight end in his rookie campaign. Campbell has ideal height, bulk, and athleticism for his position. In pass pro, he stays square, bends well, and keeps his hands in tight. He will expose his chest at times, due to his lack of ideal length, but he's able to recover after giving up some initial ground. He can slide and redirect with ease. He flashes the upper body strength to torque and control defenders. In the run game, he can wash defenders on down blocks and he stays attached to, through the whistle. Some teams will be more concerned than others with his lack of length, but I don't see it as a major issue. He is just scratching the surface of his potential and should start at tackle for a decade, provided he stays healthy. Barron is a talented Swiss Army knife. He aligned outside, in the slot and in the box as a dime linebacker for the Longhorns. He made impact plays in every game I studied. He's a quicker-than-fast athlete with outstanding eyes and conviction. He's at his best when he can play off and see through receivers to the quarterback. He reads the QB's drop and anticipates to beat pass catchers to the ball. He doesn't waste steps and has outstanding hands. He lacks elite top speed, but he's always in position and he is excellent at locating, playing the football downfield. He has good timing and feel as a blitzer. He can adjust from pass to run defense to collect tackles. His batting average as a tackler in space is very high. Overall, Barron excels at taking the ball away and reminds me of Brian Branch when he was coming out of Alabama. Ward is a thick, compact quarterback with outstanding arm strength and playmaking ability. After spending 2 seasons apiece at Incarnate Word and Washington State, he put up monster numbers at the final stop on his college journey, becoming a Heisman Trophy finalist at Miami. He plays a very freewheeling brand of football. He drifts in his drop, throws from a variety of arm angles and often falls away from the target upon release of the football. He can really power the ball into tight windows, but his aggressive nature can put points on both sides of the scoreboard. He has very quick hands in the RPO game and he can navigate around free rushers by dropping his arm angle. He took the free yards with his legs when voids presented themselves in Miami's spread attack. Overall, Ward will need to be reined in, but he's a very gifted thrower of the football. If he can learn to better manage the game, he has a very high ceiling. Sanders is a slightly undersized quarterback with outstanding touch, accuracy, and toughness. He operates out of the gun and is crisp in his footwork setup. When he has time and space in the pocket, he throws from a strong platform, showcasing a compact, smooth delivery. He really keeps his left arm tucked close to his body, which aids his ball placement. He relies more on timing and anticipation than pure velocity. He isn't a sudden, twitchy mover when pressured, and that's part of the reason why he took so many sacks over the past 2 seasons. Still, the main culprit was poor protection. Despite taking some hellacious hits, he hangs in the pocket and doesn't drop his eyes to see the rush. His toughness is unquestionable. Overall, Sanders doesn't have elite size, arm strength, or athleticism, but he can find success in an offense based on timing and ball placement. Johnson is a big cornerback with easy, fluid movement skills and excellent instincts. He played outside and in the slot at Michigan. In off coverage, he's very smooth and relaxed. He doesn't panic, settles on routes and can play the ball. He had an impressive flat-footed read against USC that he turned into a pick six. He has the size, length to press and match up with bigger wideouts. The 2 issues that showed up in his 2024 game tape were inconsistency as a support player against the run and questions about his deep speed. He wasn't ultra-aggressive to attack ball carriers and he was run over multiple times. He can alleviate any concerns about his speed during athletic testing in the spring. Overall, Johnson isn't a perfect player, but I do love his blend of size and ball skills. Campbell is a tall, rangy and explosive linebacker. He was recruited to Alabama as an edge rusher but initially moved to linebacker because of the Crimson Tide's depth on the edges. See Will Anderson Jr. and Dallas Turner, among others. This past season, he played both off the ball and on the edge. As an off-ball linebacker, he doesn't possess elite instincts but offers excellent speed and physicality. He can range sideline to sideline and flashes the ability to thump off blockers and collect tackles on inside runs. He displays exciting tools in his pass rush opportunities off the edge. He can burst, bend and finish. He also grew more comfortable in coverage throughout the 2024 season. He anticipates routes and positions himself to make plays on the ball. Overall, Campbell expands the playbook for defensive coordinators and his best football is ahead of him. Booker is one of the cleaner evaluations in the draft class. He has ideal size, awareness and consistency. In the pass game, he sets with a wide, firm base and easily absorbs power rushers. He keeps his hands tight and when he locks on, he wins. When he's uncovered, he looks for work and delivers some nasty shots to unsuspecting opponents. In the run game, he can move defenders lined up over his nose and he is excellent on combo blocks up to the second level. He takes great angles, and he gathers and walls off linebackers. Sources at Alabama compare his leadership qualities to those of former Tide star Will Anderson Jr. Booker should be an immediate starter with Pro Bowl potential. McMillan is a tall, rangy receiver with a Drake London-like skill set. He primarily lines up outside, though he'll take some reps in the slot. He lacks ideal suddenness or burst in his release, but he's a smooth, easy mover. His tape is littered with contested catches. Some of that spawns from an inability to consistently create separation, but it's also because he's so comfortable using his plus size to win 50-50 balls. He has outstanding body control and high-point skills. His catch radius is a real weapon in the red zone. He's been productive after the catch because of his strength and physicality. Overall, I thought London played with more urgency as a prospect, but McMillan has the potential to provide a similar impact at the next level. Williams is a talented edge rusher with rare physical traits. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury in the opening game against Clemson and played through pain for the remainder of the season. When healthy, he has a dynamic get-off and can win early from the edge or when he's reduced inside. He has extremely long arms and blockers struggle to get to his chest. He has a nasty shake, bull move and he also flashes a violent swipe move to generate pressure. Against the run, he still found a way to set a physical edge even when he couldn't put much weight on one leg because of his injury. His effort never wavered. Overall, the 2024 tape isn't a fair representation of Williams' talent. He has game-changing tools when healthy and locked in. Membu is a thick, square right tackle prospect with long arms. In pass pro, he explodes out of his stance and shoots his right hand to stab opponents before reworking both hands to control. He can bend and redirect smoothly. He does a good job of staying square throughout the down. He will give some ground versus power before settling down and stopping the charge. In the run game, he attacks the hip on down blocks, displacing defensive tackles. He has knockback power to uproot defenders over his nose. He could more than hold his own at tackle in the NFL but has the tools to become an all-pro guard. He reminds me of Elijah Vera Tucker coming out of college. Grant is a massive defensive tackle with intriguing quickness and power. He's very much a work in progress as a pass rusher. He flashes quick, violent hands to club, swim for wins, but far too often doesn't have a plan and stalls out. He hasn't learned to harness his strength to bull rush and consistently collapse the pocket. That should be at the top of his agenda this coming season. He's a very dominant run defender. He easily holds the point of attack, despite playing with a high pad level. I love his effort and awareness to chase down screens. If you want to see what Grant is capable of, watch Michigan's game against USC from the 2024 season. His upside was on full display that day. Unfortunately, he couldn't bottle that performance during an up-and-down season. Overall, there is some assembly required, but his physical tools are very loud and worth the investment. Banks is a thick, sturdy left tackle. In pass protection, he launches out of his stance and shows the ability to sink and bend his knees. He keeps his hands inside and is patient with his punch. When he struggles, it's because he sets up too deep or his feet settle too early. Both of those areas can be cleaned up. In the run game, he has initial knockback power, but he doesn't always strain to drive, finish. He is nimble to adjust and pick off defenders at the second level and on the perimeter. Some teams see him as more of a guard, but I believe he can hold up at tackle. Overall, Banks has some things to clean up, but I like his core foundation of strength, agility. Pierce is a long, lean edge rusher. The Volunteers moved him around in their scheme and he created havoc from a variety of entry points. His first 3 steps are very explosive when he's rushing off the edge. For such a lean-framed player, he can generate a lot of pocket push with his bull rush. When he's used as a walk-around blitzer, he exposes the lack of athleticism along the interior of offensive lines. They clear the runway for him and he goes to work. His pressure rate stands out among his peers in this class. Against the run, he plays bigger than his weight would suggest. He sets a firm edge, especially against tight ends. Overall, Pierce has double-digit sack potential and should make an immediate impact in the league. Amanwari is a massive safety prospect with ideal instincts and ball skills. He fits best as a strong safety, big nickel or sub-linebacker. He can consistently undercut routes and take the ball away in those roles. He trusts his eyes and drives on the ball. He had multiple pick sixes in the games I studied. He does have a little tightness that shows up in man coverage, but he has enough speed to recover. When he's aligned in the deep half, he's not as effective. He doesn't react as well at that depth. Against the run, he is aggressive to fill and he's a strong tackler on the front side. He will have some run by misses when chasing from the backside. Overall, Amanwari will be a difference maker provided the team that drafts him deploys him close to the action. Harmon is a quick, disruptive defensive tackle with excellent instincts. As a pass rusher, he has quick hands to knock away the punch of opposing linemen. He also has a club, rip move that helps him collect early wins. He flashes an occasional bull rush, but I'd like to see more of it because it's effective. Against the run, he's very aware and avoids getting displaced by down blocks. He can anchor down versus double teams and he excels at shooting gaps to disrupt and redirect runners. Overall, Harmon has a great feel for the game and can create a lot of havoc despite lacking an elite trait. Green was an ultra-explosive and productive edge rusher for the Thundering Herd. He jumped on the radar with an outstanding performance against Ohio State in September and continued to dominate through the entire campaign. He's continued to add weight over the last year and checked in at over 250 pounds at the Reese's Senior Bowl. In the pass game, he has an excellent get-off and he can convert speed to power. He has quick hands and wins with a rip on the edge. He has enjoyed success with spin moves, but he gets a little too reliant on them at times. I love his effort to keep working and refuse to stay blocked. In the run game, he knocks back tight ends at the point of attack and he can separate to free himself for tackles. He is very disruptive on stunts and games. Overall, Green is a very gifted pass rusher and more than holds his own against the run. Golden has average size, but he plays with tremendous polish, instincts and toughness. He spends a lot of time operating out of the slot. He can defeat press coverage with quickness or strength. He understands how to tempo routes and sets up defenders down the field. He can change gears when the ball goes up and he tracks it naturally. He does a nice job of staying grounded through the catch when working on crossers. He has the utmost confidence in his ball skills. After the catch, he is very strong, sturdy to pull through tackles and he can make defenders miss in space. I love his temperament on the field, he plays with an edge. Overall, Golden doesn't have dynamic traits, but he's a natural football player and a quarterback's best friend. He's dependable. Egbuka is a strong, physical receiver with the ability to play inside or outside. He's quick in his release, and he can fight his way through press coverage. He is more of a one-speed route runner, but he's very comfortable working in traffic. He attacks the ball in the air in the middle of the field. On vertical routes, he tracks the ball well and has a knack for utilizing late hands to prevent defenders from playing the pocket and poking the ball away. He has a great feel for working in zones and adjusting his route if the play is prolonged. After the catch, he relies more on toughness than pure speed to create extra yards. Overall, I view Egbuka as an impact slot receiver in the mold of former Buckeye Jackson Smith and Jigba. Nolan is a twitchy defensive tackle who fits best in a penetrating style of defense. Ole Miss slanted him quite often in its defensive scheme and he created some early wins versus the run and pass. As a pass rusher, he can really get off the ball with urgency and roll his hips to jolt blockers. He flashes a violent hump move and can redirect with ease. He needs to improve his vision and awareness, though. He wins a lot of battles but fails to win the war because of his inability to locate the ball. Against the run, he can generate negative plays for the offense by shooting gaps, but he gets caught and washed at times. Overall, Nolan is extremely talented and disruptive, but he hasn't come close to reaching his potential. If he lands with the right scheme, coach, he could emerge as one of the better players in this draft class. Stewart is a long, dynamic and athletic edge rusher. He generates a lot of pressures but struggles to finish in the passing game. That's why his low sack total, 4.5 in 3 seasons, is misleading. He still impacts the game, even without major sack production. He has a very explosive first step and uses his long arm move to run offensive tackles back to the passer. He bends well at the top of his rush for such a big edge defender. He has an outstanding closing burst once he clears the tackle. He does need to add more moves to his arsenal, but I guarantee defensive line coaches are going to be lining up to work with him. Against the run, he can easily set the edge and he has the speed to chase and make plays on the backside. I'm sure some will struggle to see past the limited sack total, but there is just too much talent here to fall into that trap. Ezeruaku is a compact edge rusher with outstanding length, burst and production. In the pass game, he has a very quick first step and gets on top of blockers in a hurry. He excels at prying open the outside shoulder and cornering toward the quarterback. He has a full array of moves to complement his speed rush. He has one with a club, swim, inside counter, spin move and Euro step. He's an outstanding finisher, 16.5 sacks in 2024. Against the run, he needs to be more consistent using his length to stack blocks. He takes them on with his shoulder too often. He shows solid effort on the backside to chase plays. Overall, Ezeruaku has an ideal body type to rush the passer, and he has all the tricks in his bag to win against good players. Hampton is a big, athletic back. As a runner, he likes to press the hole early before deciding to stay inside or bounce out wide. He has enough speed to capture the corner when he gets to the perimeter. He's a loose runner and has make-you-miss ability in space. He has an impressive blend of power and balance on contact. His vision is a little inconsistent, though. He will occasionally run up the back of blockers. In the pass game, he's effective on angle routes, screens and shovels. He has strong, reliable hands. In pass pro, he is quick to sort and attack blitzers with a sharp, 6-inch punch. Overall, Hampton has the size and tools to be an effective starter right away. Simmons is a gifted left tackle prospect. He was having an outstanding 2024 campaign before suffering a season-ending knee injury in October. He has excellent size, movement skills and balance. In the passing game, he has a smooth, fluid set. He can easily redirect and plays with a wide, firm base. He uses a sharp punch before steering and controlling defenders. He will overset on occasion, but he's nimble enough to redirect and recover. In the run game, he plays under control, stays on his feet and maintains leverage position. He can adjust in space on combos. The main question with Simmons is health. What he put on tape this fall should generate plenty of optimism about his chances of becoming a quality starting left tackle in the NFL. Jackson has ideal size, strength and bend as an interior offensive lineman. He is best suited at guard, but he stepped up to play left tackle after the Buckeyes lost their starter at the position in the middle of the 2024 season. In the pass game, he sets with a firm anchor, bends his knees and stays attached. He can slide and redirect smoothly. He is keenly aware on twists and stunts. In the run game, he creates movement on down blocks. He has the quickness and athleticism to kick out defenders on outside pulls. He has enough foot speed to reach and seal on the backside. His overall hand placement is excellent in both the run and pass game. He had a couple tough reps against Abdul Carter, but I was impressed with his overall competitiveness at tackle. He is more than functional at that position, but I see him as a top-tier guard. Burden is a quick, athletic slot receiver. He received a lot of quick hitters in Missouri's offense. He excels on underneath option routes that allow him to combine his feel to create space and his suddenness to generate yards after the catch. He has outstanding body control, giving him the ability to contort and haul in poorly thrown balls. He is at his best with the ball in his hands. He can stop, start in a hurry and possesses the agility to make defenders miss in tight quarters. He has more to offer once he gets to the next level. When given the opportunity to work down the field, he can tap into another gear and track the ball smoothly. Overall, Burden is a fun player to study and reminds me of Stephon Diggs coming out of college. Starks split his time between nickelback and safety in the Bulldogs' defense. When he was in the slot, he showed quick feet with the ability to flip his hips and mirror underneath. To see him at his best, watch him carry a vertical route, stay in phase and high-point a deep ball against Clemson. From off coverage, he's aggressive to squat on routes, and he's had wins and losses because of it. He was caught flat-footed a few times in the games I studied. In the deep half, he takes good angles in pursuit and is a firm tackler in space. Sources at Georgia speak very highly of his leadership and character. Overall, Starks didn't make as many plays this past season as he did in 2023, but he has the versatility to move around the field and provide a lot of value. Judkins is a powerful, compact runner with outstanding career production. He is very decisive and aggressive on inside runs. He runs low to the ground and hunts the unblocked defender with a thirst for violence. He has a vicious stiff arm, provided he doesn't simply lower his shoulder and run through the defender. On perimeter runs, he usually looks to square up and get vertical as soon as possible. He isn't as polished in the passing game as Ohio State teammate TreVeyon Henderson, but he's competent as a screen, check-down option, and he's aware in pass protection. He's at his best in the 4-minute offense. He closed out the Penn State game with one punishing run after another. Overall, Judkins has areas to improve, but he is a natural runner and he's built to carry a full load as a starter. Taylor is a big, athletic tight end with excellent quickness, hands, and toughness. He primarily lined up in line, but he also flexed out in the slot and took a few reps on the outside. He's polished as a route runner, showing the ability to set up defenders, lean into them, and then create separation. He has a big catch radius, hauling in balls above his head as well as below his knees. He is a pure hands catcher, keeping the ball away from his body. He doesn't have elite top-end speed, but he is a smooth mover and can find another gear when the ball is in the air. After the catch, he can pull through tackles or make defenders miss in space. He isn't a mauler in the run game, but he can screen off and stay attached. Overall, Taylor has the ability to be a day one starter with high-volume production. Henderson is a muscled-up runner with elite speed and versatility. He is patient to the hole before exploding through with high knees. He has long speed to destroy pursuit angles once he gets into the open field. He needs to improve his contact balance, though. Too often, his feet stop when meted or near the line of scrimmage. He has the lower body strength to power through if he keeps driving his feet. In the passing game, he runs a wide variety of routes with quickness and savvy. He has strong, reliable hands. He's an elite pass protector. He is quick to identify blitzers and attack them. He strains to finish, sometimes well after the ball has been caught down the field. Overall, Henderson is a three-down weapon, brimming with big play potential. Conerly has an athletic frame with solid bulk and long arms. He lined up at left tackle for the Ducks. In the pass game, he pops out of his stance with quick feet and is patient with his hands. He can cut off speed rushers and effectively redirect versus counters. He does have some hip tightness and lacks ideal sink and bend. He lunges on occasion, putting himself in bad positions. In the run game, he fits well initially but needs to improve his ability to stay attached and finish. He plays under control at the second level and out in space. Overall, Conerly isn't an elite athlete, but he has the tools to develop into a solid starter in time. Farmer has outstanding bulk, length, and strength for his position. Against the pass, he has a quick first step and push the pocket power. He can win early when slanting, and he flashes the ability to stack moves together when his initial move is thwarted. Against the run, he faced double teams quite a bit, but he can sink his weight and hold up fine. He can stack single blocks easily. He has a lot of shock in his hands to jolt and free himself. He's a little late to locate the ball carrier at times, but once he finds him, he pursues with effort. Overall, Farmer is likely to rise up boards during the evaluation process. He is scheme versatile and provides value on every down. Sawyer is a big, rugged edge defender with excellent production. Against the run, he's a bully at the point of attack. He jolts blockers with his hands before discarding and pursuing the ball. He consistently collapses tight ends. He plays with excellent effort to chase plays from the backside. He will drop into coverage on occasion. He's tight in his change of direction, but his instincts put him in position to make plays. As a pass rusher, he relies mostly on power. He runs his feet on contact, generating a push with his bull rush. He also has a violent club move. Overall, Sawyer is a dominant edge setter in the run game, and he will test the brakes of opposing tackles in the pass game. Dart has slightly below average height and a thick, sturdy frame. He's an excellent athlete and was very productive in Lane Kiffin's offensive system. Dart connects on a lot of RPOs, quick hitters, and seam balls. He has the touch to get the ball up and down at the second level. He flashed the ability to get deeper in his progression, but the first or second option was usually open. His eyes work fast, and there are occasions where his feet fail to catch up, which can impact ball placement. He doesn't have a huge power arm, but he has enough to drive the ball outside the numbers without issue. His decision-making continued to improve throughout his college career, but there were still hiccups at times. I love his athleticism and competitiveness as a runner. He can create off-script and execute on designed QB runs. Overall, Dart is still a work in progress, but he possesses starter traits, and his competitiveness will endear him to his teammates. Sanders is a long, lean, and twitchy defensive tackle. He aligned up and down the front in South Carolina's scheme. He's disruptive against the pass, boasting an explosive get-off. He uses his length to keep blockers off his chest. When he keeps his pads low, he can create pocket push. He will get his pads a little too high at times and stall out. He has the agility to wrap around blockers on stunts games. South Carolina had one of the best defensive lines in the country, which limited some of his production. Against the run, he can unlock his hips, shoot his hands and hold the point of attack against single blocks. He isn't as stout against double teams and will get displaced at times. He plays with high effort. Overall, Sanders is an ascending player with the ability to impact the quarterback. Thomas is a tall, long and fluid cornerback. In press coverage, he has the size and physicality to disrupt at the line of scrimmage, but he does need to clean up some footwork. His feet will occasionally widen at the snap, and he's forced to recover if he doesn't land his hands. From off coverage, he's effective playing from a side turn, where he can explode and drive on in breaking routes. He isn't a violent tackler, but he's more than willing and he can effectively get runners on the ground. He displays effort to chase plays from the backside. Sources from Florida State rave about his intelligence and character. Overall, Thomas has some areas to clean up, but he has the foundational tools of a dependable starter. Hairston is a lean, athletic cornerback with ideal play speed and fluidity. In press coverage, he incorporates a one-hand jam before turning and carrying vertical routes. He has plenty of burst speed. In off coverage, he likes to settle and catch receivers at the break point. He'll need to play cleaner with his hands down the field at the next level. In Kentucky's defense, he rolled back to play in the middle of the field versus certain formations, motions, but he was late to diagnose and react from that alignment. He's willing in run support and is a dynamic blitzer. He was limited to 7 games this past season due to injury. He had a very productive 2023 season, 5 interceptions, but wasn't targeted much in the games I studied from this past year. Overall, Hairston offers an enticing blend of movement skills and production. Morrison is a smooth, easy mover with ball skills. He had a history of strong production before suffering a season-ending injury in October. He excels in off coverage, with a fluid pedal and excellent awareness. He understands down and distance situations, settling and closing without wasting any movement. He can effortlessly flip his hips and run with vertical routes. In press coverage, he flashes the physicality to reroute, but he will lose his balance at times and get beat early in the down. He is a willing tackler, sticking his chest into ball carriers to get them on the ground. He flashed timing and burst as a blitzer. Overall, Morrison has the tools to emerge as a quality starting cornerback provided he returns to full health. Stewart is an undersized bolt of lightning off the edge. He plays with tremendous passion, energy and effort. He explodes off the line of scrimmage and has a powerful shake-bull move to generate pressures and sacks. He also can rip through a blocker's outside shoulder or swipe the hands away to win on the edge. For an undersized player, he plays much bigger than you might expect at the point of attack. He jars blockers in the run game and avoids getting displaced. He has the speed to chase down plays from the backside. Sources at Michigan rave about his tenacity and leadership. If Stewart had ideal measurements for his position, he would be talked about as one of the best players in the draft. Mbo is a lean, athletic right tackle prospect. The Purdue product has the movement skills of a tight end, he's at his best in space. In the run game, he has the speed and agility to cut off from the backside and he gets to the second level in a hurry on combos and pulls. He is very nimble to redirect and connect to linebackers in space. He does need to add some core strength, though, as he can be a little flimsy against stronger edge players at the point of attack. In pass pro, he can cover up speed rushers easily and redirect against counter moves. However, he will get tugged and pulled by bigger rushers. Overall, Mbo needs to get stronger, but zone run teams are going to love him. Zabel is a versatile offensive lineman with excellent toughness and awareness. He lined up at left tackle in 2024, but he has played 4 O-line positions during his collegiate career. I believe he's best suited to play guard at the next level. In pass pro, he has quick feet, stays square and catches, absorbs rushers. His lack of length shows up on the perimeter. He allows defenders to capture his chest, but he still possesses the core strength and balance to stall their push. He shows the savvy to snatch rushers when they get overextended. I love his ability to fit up and drive defenders in the run game. He has a great feel on combo blocks, and he always looks to finish. He has a nasty playing style, but he doesn't get caught off balance. Overall, I see Zabel as a day 1 starter at guard. Arroyo is an athletic, seam-stretching tight end with ideal size, length. He moved around the formation in Miami's offense, but he did most of his damage flexed out in the slot. He's sudden in his release and he gains speed as he climbs down the field. He's at his best when he's attacking vertically or running away from defenders on crossers. He isn't a nuanced, polished route runner, but he has a good feel to find space when his quarterback scrambles. He tracks the ball very well over the shoulder and has reliable hands. After the catch, he relies on his speed to pull away from pursuing defenders. He's an effective shield, wall-off blocker in the run game. The medical evaluation portion of the draft process will be important for him given his injury history. Overall, Arroyo is still developing as a complete route runner, but he can do a lot of damage on limited touches because of his speed. Collins is a dominant run defender with upside as a pass rusher. He has the ideal size, length and motor for his position. Against the run, he can uncoil his hips and explode into blockers. He can lock out single blocks with one arm and has the base balance to hold up versus double teams. He will incorporate a violent snatch and dump move when blockers get overextended. He occasionally aligned over tight ends and physically mauled them. He chases plays from the backside with excellent effort. As a pass rusher, he is a tick late off the ball and lacks a true game plan. He still generates pressure once he gets rolling, but the sacks were not there. I see a lot to work with in this department and expect more production from him at the next level. Overall, Collins is a dominant two-down defensive tackle with the potential to develop into more as a professional.